Right everyone, it is Finn here and welcome back to another World Cup Wednesday where of course, don't forget, every single Wednesday we're going to be talking about a different World Cup nation where of course today it is Serbia's turn because today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know about the Serbian National Football Team. We're of course going to be looking at their group for the World Cup 2022, which by the way, I might say this right now, it is the group of death. They're in a group with the likes of Brazil, the only nation to qualify for every World Cup ever. They've got the likes of Switzerland, who surprised so many people in the recent Euros in terms of how well they played. And of course, we've got the team that came third place in the recent African Cup of Nations, Cameroon. Are you not entertained? As I said, three brilliant opponents that Serbia will have in this competition, and it won't be an easy group for them. But saying that, I still believe they can make it through to the next stage. Of course, we're going to be talking about the star players you have to look out for. And of course, ultimately, we're going to be talking about what the best possible starting 11 Serbia should put forward if they want to do well in this competition. Now, of course, yes, I know it is tremendously early for me to put forward a best possible starting 11 for a team. The World Cup is still months and months and months away. Players' forms seem to change every single week. So of course, worst case scenario, I can always update this at a later stage. But I've just been so tremendously excited to start this video. Just looking at the players that they could put in their team, looking at how well they could do in this competition, I just had to do this video right now. I mean, looking at Serbia, they were the team that beat Portugal in their World Cup qualifications group, the 2016 Euro winners, the team that's got the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, Diogo Jota and so many other stars. Serbia could surprise a lot of people in the upcoming World Cup. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, if you do enjoy these World Cup Wednesday videos, if you want to see them on a more regular, or I guess it's still going to end up being on a Wednesday, don't forget to subscribe down below, leave a like and of course comment which nation you want me to talk next. But as I said, talking about the Serbian national team, there are some global stars that could surprise us in this tournament. You've got the likes of Malinkovic, Savic, you've got Dusan Tadic, you've got Vlahovic, you've got Alexander Mitrovic, who has been so brilliant this season. He might as well be knighted to Sir being so great this season. I'm sorry. But of course, jumping into what I believe is Serbia's strongest starting 11 heading into this tournament, of course, we have to look at the formation first. Now, I will admit it, on paper, I'm not a huge fan of this formation, but it is the formation that Serbia have been using during the World qualification stage. So I guess it has worked up until this point, and you know what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And of course, we are then going to go for the 3-4-1-2 formation.
Step back, I think I'm gonna vomit!
Yes, as I said, very, very odd, but it worked in the World Cup qualification stage. Now, of course, looking at the goalkeeper that Serbia just have to start with, in my opinion, it is going to be the likes of Predrag Rajkovic. The 26-year-old Reims goalkeeper has had an absolutely brilliant season, has gotten 7 clean sheets in the French League 1, of course, the 4th most in the French division. He's had an absolutely brilliant season. If you look at him statistically, 72.7% save success rate this season. He has been brilliant. He's been a brick wall between the posts, obviously 28.9 clean sheets percentage throughout the season. I mean, he's almost guaranteed to keep at least 2 clean sheets this tournament. He's been absolutely brilliant, and I think Serbia just have to start him. I feel like the only competition they've got for that spot is the likes of Dimitrikov, who's obviously the Sevilla goalkeeper. He's of course been a brilliant part of their team for many years, but I do feel like obviously 30 years old, he's not getting that much game time for Sevilla. You just have to put in the new legs. The 26-year-old goalkeeper has to be the goalkeeper for me. Now, of course, heading into that back three for Serbia, personally for me, a player that is sticking out by a country mile is the likes of 20-year-old Pavlovic, who's absolutely brilliant at the moment. Look, I'll say this, I'm surprised not enough people, or not more people, are talking about this youngster. He is the future of centre-backs. He's looking so good at the moment. Obviously playing for the likes of FC Basel in Switzerland on loan from the likes of Monaco. I mean, if you just look at his statistics at the moment, 3.42 tackles per 90 minutes puts him within the top 94 percentile of centre-backs from around the world. Of course, 14 presses per 90 minutes puts him within the top 94 percentile. And of course, 5.55 progressive carries puts him within the 95 percentile in world football. Once again, as a centre-back, he can do it all. Defensive ability, being brilliant. Obviously, in terms of distributing from the back, he can do it all. As I said, this is the next big thing in the world of centre-backs, and there's no doubt in my mind that he has to start for Serbia. Of course, next to him, we've got the likes of Milos Volchovich. Once again, sorry for butchering names, but of course, looking at the Werder Bremen centre-back. Unfortunately, he is injured at the moment, but he should be back in time for the World Cup. Of course, playing for the likes of Werder Bremen at the moment in the second tier of German football. Of course, he's really been doing well as of late. Of course, 26 years old at the moment, as I said, unfortunately is injured at the moment, but statistically has really helped Werder Bremen gain first place and become top of the league in the German second division, and has helped them almost gain promotion back to the German Bundesliga. As I said, looks like a really brilliant centre-back option. Of course, came through the Tottenham Hotspurs academy, and if you put him in the middle of this back three defense for Serbia, once again, I really believe you can go places. And of course, that takes us to our third and final centre-back with the likes of Nicola Malinkovic, which once again, I think is how you pronounce it, the 24-year-old centre-back who can also play as a right-back for the likes of Fiorentina. Of course, has been part of this Fiorentina system since the age of 20, has been a regular in the squad. As I said, is very versatile, can play in the right-back position, centre-back position. He is a very tall physical player. I believe he's 1.96 meters tall. He will win your headers. His distribution is brilliant. He's got a bit of pace on him. And as I said, really finalizes and looks so good in this back three. And once again, a very reliable player. And that is something you definitely need in a back three. Now, of course, that takes us to our midfield four before our front three. And of course, we're going to start in that left midfield side with the likes of Filip Kostic, obviously 29 years old, and played a crucial part this season to knocking Barcelona out of the Europa League for Frankfurt. Once again, not going to be a huge fan of Barcelona fans, but you know what can I say? Been brilliant so far this season, and in fact, once again, a very reliable kind of player who's been on form and is very, very consistent. In the last 4 seasons of his career at Eintracht Frankfurt, has always gotten more than 10 assists per season. So far this season, he has gotten 9 assists, which once again, let's be honest, he will end up breaking it, but as I said, from a creative front, can seriously have such a major advantage for the Serbian national team. Of course, got a goal and 2 assists for Serbia in the World Cup qualifiers. Yes, I know it's not up there with the top numbers, but of course plays in kind of a deeper role in the Serbian team, considering there is a front three in front of them. Now, of course, looking at the right midfield side slash right back side, we've got the likes of Dusan Vlahovic, once again, I think that's how you pronounce it, the 31-year-old right back who can of course play as a right midfielder at the same time, playing for Verona in the Italian league. Of course, has gotten 1 goal and 4 assists in the Italian league so far, which once again, for a fullback, that is not bad. I mean, looking at him, in terms of a fullback, he gets 4 touches in the penalty area per 90 minutes, which puts him within the top 98 percentile of fullbacks. 2.7 shots per 90 minutes, which obviously puts him within the 89 percentile in world football. In terms of a creative winger kind of system, looking at the likes of Kostic and Lazovic, I think this is the perfect system for the Serbian national team. And once again, it has worked in the World Cup qualifiers, so I don't see why it wouldn't work this time around. Which of course takes us to our midfield duo. Who are the 2 midfielders I'm going to put in this midfield duo? Now, of course, I'd love to put a player like Nemanja Matic in there. Obviously, as a Manchester United fan, I've seen his brilliance. From time to time when he does play, he has the ability to make some really good runs, although not the fastest player on the pitch. But unfortunately, he retired from the Serbian national team quite a few years ago. But saying that, Serbia still have some brilliant options, as they've got the likes of Nemanja Matic, I think that's how you pronounce it, or
Who?
and of course Milinkovic Savic. You know the name. What a brilliant midfield duo. Obviously, looking at the likes of Gudeji first, he's played for some of the best clubs from around the world. He's played for Ajax, he's played for Sporting CP, and he's played for Sevilla. As we know, in terms of a defensive midfielder who can also play as a centre back from time to time. Once again, absolutely brilliant option, and is known to be reliable. He's also known for his distribution, as when he is playing in that back kind of position, he knows how to get the ball forward to the attackers, which of course, as you will see the attackers later on in this video, it could be very, very important. But of course, as I said, next to him is going to be Milinkovic Savic, 27-year-old Serbian midfielder, as we know has been brilliant in the Italian league for years now for the likes of Lazio. I mean, he's been linked to Barcelona, Manchester City, Manchester United for years now, and I'm almost surprised he hasn't made that big money move. Obviously, as we know, can play in that central midfield area, but can also play as an attacking midfielder. And that is where he's gotten 9 goals and 11 assists for Lazio this season. I mean, for the last few years, in the last 6 consecutive years for Lazio, he's been consistent in terms of providing both goals and assists. I mean, he's kind of that perfect midfielder that I think he could move to any team in the entire world, to be honest. He could move to Real Madrid. He could move to a Bayern Munich. He is that good. Obviously, in 2015, was part of that under-20 World Cup winning squad for Serbia. So he's won silverware, or should I say goldware, with Serbia. And I think he's got the hunger to do it again. As I said, Malinkovic-Savic, if you put him next to Gudeji, once again, absolutely unbreakable midfield first for Serbia. And of course, that takes us to our front kind of 3 for the Serbian national team, which once again, this is where it gets super tasty. Of course, in that attacking midfield position, or that centre forward position, you've got Dusan Tadic, which of course the captain of the Serbian national team, and dare I say, the most underrated player in the entirety of world football. I mean, looking at him in 2018, he obviously moved from Southampton to Ajax, which, by the way, Southampton, yes, they've sold some brilliant players over the years, but this might be the one where they almost kick themselves the most. Obviously, in 2021, broke the record for the most assists in a calendar year, obviously beating the likes of Lionel Messi. That's not too bad of a player to have in your team, in my opinion. I mean, as a Manchester United fan, I would 100% take him. Looking at him this season, 12 goals and 17 assists in 30 games. That is absolute madness. As I said, the World Cup is still so far away. Of course, form could 100% change, but of course, looking at it at this exact moment in time, he will play probably the biggest role, in my opinion, at the World Cup. He is my player to watch for Serbia. As I said, absolutely brilliant player. Of course, 2 goals and 6 assists in 8 World Cup qualifier games. What a player Dusan Tadic can be. Of course, very versatile once again, as he can also play in a left wing position, although Serbia don't really use a formation with wingers. And of course, that takes us to our front 2 for the Serbian national team. And of course, what a striker partnership up front. I'm sure you guys have no guess as to who it will be, but of course it is going to be good old Alexander Mitrovic and of course Dusan Vlahovic. What a striking partnership. And as I said, putting the likes of Tadic behind them, I mean, I would be shocked if Serbia don't make it out of their group. With the players they've got, I mean, they've almost got no excuses. Looking at Mitrovic, he's just broken the goals for broken the record for the most goals in a championship season, scoring 41 goals in 41 games. I mean, can we just talk about how mental that is for a second, considering before that the record was broken by Ivan Toney for 32 goals in a championship season. 41 goals in 41 games is absolutely brilliant. And I mean, if you think of it, if only the championship was considered to be slightly higher, he'll be in the running for the Ballon d'Or this season.
Why would you say something so controversial yet so brave?
He's been that good. Of course, also 8 goals in 8 World Cup qualifier games. Of course, the real question is, can he do it in the Premier League? As last season in the Premier League, only got 3 goals in 27 games. Once again, has to prove it on a high stage like the Premier League. But for the Serbian national team and for Fulham, been brilliant this season. And there's no doubt in my mind that he'll end up starting for them. I think it was in 2018, won the Serbian Footballer of the Year, and is a real contender this time around. What a player. And of course, next to the 27-year-old Mitrovic, we've got the younger, brighter, and definitely one of the brightest stars in the world at the moment, Dusan Vlahovic. Obviously 22 years old, as we know, moved from Fiorentina to Juventus this season. Of course, scored the fastest goal ever in the Champions League. I think it was something stupid like 32 seconds. Looking at Vlahovic, he is almost the future of football. You could almost one day maybe put him there with Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland, or maybe he's slightly lower. Obviously, that's a subjective thing. But of course, 23 goals in Serie A this season between the two clubs. Not bad whatsoever. 4 goals in 8 World Cup qualifier games. And of course, if you look at him, in 2021, equaled Cristiano Ronaldo's record for the most goals in a calendar year in Serie A. This man is the future. As I said, a lethal goal scorer. And if you put him next to the likes of Mitrovic, in front of the likes of Tadic, there is no way they won't score a good few handful of goals at the World Cup. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is it in terms of what I believe is the best possible starting 11 for Serbia Serbia heading into this competition. As I said, I know this was a slightly faster paced video than normal, but of course, just to get through the amount of quality in the Serbian national team. As I said, I think they can go above the likes of Cameroon. I think they can go above the likes of Switzerland. And to be honest, I think they could almost get a draw, maybe a shock result from the likes of Brazil. Serbia, you've got yourselves a brilliant team, and I'm expecting a big surprise from you this World Cup. Many people think of you as the underdog. Of course, looking at Serbia in terms of their trophies over the last few years, I mean, maybe the greatest spot of their success in terms of how well they did in competition came in like the mid-90s, between the 1930s to the 1970s. But I have to say this is definitely a golden generation for the Serbian national team, and I am expecting big things. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear from you in the comment section down below. How well do you think Serbia will do in the 2022 World Cup? Along with that, which nation do you want me to talk about next in the next World Cup Wednesday? Of course, if you don't want me to talk about a specific nation, if you want me to talk about the World Cup as a whole, you guys can ask me to rank the captains of every nation or to rank the front three of every nation. It is up to you. Of course, put your comments in the comment section down below. But ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to like, subscribe, so close to 4,000 subscribers. But of course, I'm going to see you very soon. Finn, FYNN, cheers.